I'm now calling this meeting to order. Please stand with us. We'll be led in prayer by Alderman Gallagher. Please remain standing after that for the Pledge of Allegiance that will be led by Alderman at Large George Payne.
Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for the opportunity to meet here. Lord, we thank you for the Easter holidays that just passed. Lord, we thank you for an empty tomb, Lord Jesus, where you came back from the dead, Lord, and allowed us to be saved, Lord. So we're thankful for that, Lord, and we ask you to be here in this meeting and to help us make decisions that would be beneficial to our city. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on our agenda this evening is the approval of minutes for the March 19, 2024 meeting.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Hoots, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoot.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
And that motion carries. Next on our agenda is a resolution for commercial establishment chronic nuisance property ordinance. Nick, will you address, and this is what we talked about last time. So after the last meeting, we took the concerns and suggestions of the discussion we had in public, took that back to the drawing board with Nick and tweaked the ordinance, so that's where we are today. So we'll reconvene discussion on that.
Yeah, after the last meeting, I know there was comments, first of all, about the three separate and distinct incidents. So this revised ordinance has it requires three separate and distinct incidents that result in arrest within a 6-month period as part of the requirement for the chronic nuisance property for the commercial establishment. It also takes away the sign requirement. I think there was some concern last meeting about having a sign posted on the door. That no longer is required or in the ordinance as well. It's handled through a process of service. So it takes away I think the term that was used was the shaming of the incident. So it takes that away as well. It also, like I said, it does the criminal conduct, the 6 months. And it doesn't, when we do it this way, have the chronic nuisance property ordinance just for commercial establishment as a standalone ordinance. It also helps, we think, with the, I guess for lack of better terminology, the party house ordinance that was passed at I think a year or two ago, because it won't weaken that ordinance as well. So you have two different ordinances that seem to accomplish the same goal what the board had in mind at the last meeting. One, that the party house ordinance isn't weakened and it stays as is a standalone ordinance. This ordinance comes in as I don't want to say a complement, but as a ancillary ordinance to the to the party house ordinance, and only applies to chronic property or commercial establishments, which is defined in the ordinance as well. So this also, I think the concern last board meeting was the person responsible. Who would that be? The consensus seemed to be from the board. It would be not only it could be the owner or the landlord or the person managing it, but it would be an actual penalty against the establishment itself. So that was defined in this as well. So try to take all those suggestions from the last meeting and to make sure that they are incorporated in this ordinance. That also, one of the main things it does as well is it does provide discretion for our police department and how this is enforced, because it will apply in the event that the establishment itself is the victim. So in the event that someone's caught shoplifting or someone's doing something to the establishment, that is not what this is about. That we're not trying to. The ordinance isn't trying to prohibit someone from calling the police for those type of incidents. It's just for those incidents where it's chronic. We're not being alerted by the city. I mean, the city is not being alerted, and there's been no effort or good faith efforts to correct it. And so that's the discretionary aspect, I think, which our police can operate with, from the standpoint of not discretion as far as they can choose, but discretion as far as making sure that the discretion that is used is not utilized against the business when it is a victim or the subject of the criminal violation. Took the comments last board meeting, tried to put that in an ordinance for review. happy to answer any questions or try to answer the questions that we have tonight for the ordinance.
So everyone's had a chance to review, the different language that was changed by Nick after the last meeting. So is there any other concerns about this, or is there anything not in here that we feel like we've left out?
Address any concerns I have.
And again, just for the record, whether or not we have a sign on the property, that was never intended to shame anybody. It was, actually, I didn't even know it. That's just part of legal processes normally when you're doing it, but if we can take it out, I'm all for taking that out.
Yes, sir. It was taken out in this one. Yes, sir. It's
Yeah.
still, yes, sir. It was taken out just from the standpoint of the comments on that, and I agreed with the point, so it was taken
Yeah.
out.
And the police having some discretion is the key to this being a functional ordinance. Without that, it's because every situation is not the same. Some businesses can't help, what happens on their property. Anything happens at a certain time. There's a trend. Our police can tell, when they have an organization that's not, working with them to help deter crime or minimize things that attract crime. So that's key. That's in there, and I think that's critical to it being an ordinance that's effective. If there's no other discussion, is there a motion to approve it?
So move.
Second.
A motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, and that motion carries. Next on our agenda is a resolution for donation to the DeSoto Economic Council's Salute to Industry Golf Tournament.
Yeah, this resolution will just authorize that donation in accordance with Mississippi Code 21-1944 as set forth in the resolution.
I'll make that motion. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is an MOU with the Mississippi Attorney General and Department of Homeland Security for internet crimes against children.
Yeah, this MOU obviously is with the SPD. Currently we have 2 police officers on this task force. The MOU, we don't receive any money, but the MOU just notes that we'll share information and equipment when necessary for these crimes. So tonight I need authorization for either Chief Vickers or the mayor to sign this MOU with the Mississippi Attorney General's office for the task force for crime against children and with the Homeland Security Department as well.
I'll make that.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it, that motion carries. Next on our agenda is our continuing disclosure for FY '23.
This was previously approved, the continuing disclosure for FY23. The city's disclosure statement has been submitted to Emma in accordance with the SEC regulations. So no action to take, but it does have to be spread upon your minutes in accordance with the law. So tonight, just being note, this is in the minutes that has been filed for FY23. There's
I'll make the motion.
no actions. I mean, we can make a
No.
motion, but there's not
Okay.
required to.
Okay.
Okay, next on our agenda is our approval for the Southaven Police Department grant application.
Yeah, this application will authorize the SPD to apply for a grant for K9. Basically, it's for a dental grant in the amount of $7,186 for a K9 that needs dental work. So authorization to apply for the grant as presented, which is required as part of the application that has board approval with the signature of the police department.
So move.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Alderman Hood, second by Alderman Jerome. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution to clean private property.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt the resolution granting authority to clean private property as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion among the board? Hearing none, is there anyone in the audience that has a financial interest in any of the properties who would like to speak? Seeing or hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is our planning agenda. Ms. Whitney Cook, our Director of Planning and Development.
So our first application is by Southaven Star Landing LLC. It is for subdivision approval for Life Point Village at Southaven. This is going to be on the north side of Star Landing Road, just west of Getwell. This overall PUD was an active senior community that was approved back in, I believe, 2006. Right now, existing on site, you have an assisted living facility on there, and there's 2 quadplexes that have 4 dwellings for the 55 and up community. What you see highlighted in red there makes up the 10.902 acres that is under discussion tonight. And what's been proposed is quad and 5-plex design, 0 lot lines that have been designed for 55 and up again. On the following page, you can see that there are 44 lots. There is a large space of amenity green space shown on the interior of it. That green space has a clubhouse, has pickleball. There's additional parking set aside for overflow parking when families come through. The original design had it laid out in a kind of a square type design, which wasn't efficient use of space. You couldn't use it like we needed to get the density up. So what the applicant did was Yes, thank you. What the applicant did was take it and mimic it from what you see at the Brambles, the villages of Brambles, as well as the 55 and up community right by Wesley Meadows down in Hernando. So each one of them has kind of a shotgun house. You have a 2-car garage that is in the back. All of them, with the exception of couple, have rear load access. So all face the open space in the center. There's a detention area along the front end on Star Landing Road, which is set to be somewhat of amenity to be a dry pond. It does have a walking trail around it. There'll be 2 access points. One is directly off of Starling Road. It does have a boulevard associated with it, and it will have passive gates. The roads are set to be public right-of-ways, so we will carry the maintenance from the city side. Again, it was an approved PUD that was put in place back in '06. Everything is compliant except for the kind of layout of the housing units. This actually plays out better for us, and we've seen that this has a better traffic circulation for us as well when it comes to emergency services and things like that. So we recommend it as submitted. I know we were going through some of the documentation that they were going through. Those are the HOA covenants. That was something the Planning Commission wanted added there just to kind of see the due maintenance and how that was going to work. And again, that mimics the Village Brambles 55 and up community over off of Getwell. We've seen no issues with that one along with their covenants. So with this middle of those HOA documents, it was recommended for approval by unanimous vote.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve item number 1 on the planning agenda as presented tonight.
Second.
On item 1, we have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Item number 2 is application by M&R Associates for subdivision approval of Pinewood North Phase 1. It's going to be on the south side of State Line Road, east of Tullahoma. What you see highlighted here in green is a portion of the land that is north of the TVA lines. In 2018, this PUD came through and it was amended again, I believe, in 2021. This is now known as Pinewood North. If you'll recall, the board, instead of just kind of going right with the lot sizes down on the south side of TVA lines, this area was required to do what we call transitional lot sizes. So what you have along State Road are your 20,000 square foot lots. Those will be half-acre lots. The square footage of the homes there were also upped to the 2,000 square foot minimum. As you go to the center point of it, the lots went down to a medium density, anywhere between like a 14,000 to a 12,000 square foot lot. And then as you came down, you see color right there, as you came down toward the TVA lines, they went down to the minimum size of 10,400 square foot lots. The interior had 1,800 square foot, which was also part of the PUD text. You see 3 large pieces of open space there. Requirements we did and learned our lesson on having like spot green space was that we wanted to create a usable green space, and so we have there anywhere from half acres to acre park areas, and the open spaces are your minor boulevard entryways, and then it's along State Line Road. It was compliant again with the PUD text. The one discussion that was talked about at planning was actually the uniform fencing along State Line Road. They wanted to ensure that it didn't turn out like Rasco Road, the old Center Park area, where you have 6-foot side-proof fence that everybody kind of just mismatches. So they did come up with a stipulation that they wanted the decorative fence that was approved with PUD text, which had stone columns and a split rail center. But behind that, if anybody wanted the privacy fences, they wanted them dressed up. So they wanted the accent band at the top, and they wanted it all to be put in place at the same time. So that's agreed upon by the applicant. And with that being said, the planning commission did vote unanimously in favor of it.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve item number 2 on the planning agenda.
Second.
On item 2, we have a motion by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Well, you did say and it looks that way, so lots backing up to state line are larger.
They're approximately half acres, give or
Okay.
take a bit, and they do have higher square footage of the homes.
Thank you. Any other discussion on 2? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Application number 3 is a subdivision application for the Airways Hotel subdivision. This is going to be on the east side of Airways, north of Nail Road. There is a hotel in construction on this property as we speak, and we did approve about 6 months ago a conditional use permit for a secondary hotel on the site known as the Element. All this application is doing is taking that parcel and separating the two out so that each hotel is on its own private lot. The only stipulation we had when they brought it to my office is that south of that second lot needed to provide an egress to go to the back portion of that property. There's a lot more acreage behind it that's still owned by the original property owner. We wanted to make sure we didn't cut them off from Airways Road. They did agree to that, and so they put that in the document that was submitted. After that, we had no further comments. It is compliant with the commercial lot requirements set forth in the ordinance. Was voted unanimously in favor of.
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion that we approve item 3 on the planning agenda as presented.
Second.
On item 3, we have a motion by Alderman Jerome, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Our fourth application is subdivision application by Johnny Coleman Builders. This is going to be a revision to Central Gardens, Parcel 1, Phase 1. It's on the north side of Ratho Road, west of Green Park. It is currently under construction, and this is the 55 and up community across from the intermediate school. The only thing that they're requesting to do is at the far east end of the property, one of the lots identified as Lot 1 was very large. It was closing in on half an acre. These are 55 and up lots. So to have an acre, a lot that large seemed a little. So what Coleman Builders did was propose to cut that in half, utilize the one portion to the west as the actual lot for the property owner, and the remainder of it would go into open space, which would help provide a buffer between the TVA lines that you have to the east as well as the property owner there. So it was just a more feasible design. Obviously, there's no issues with the planning commission and was voted unanimously in favor by the planning commission.
Is there a plan for that extra lot other than just buffer space? I mean,
It's just green space at this point. So all of their amenity space is on the interior because this is the very far northeast corner of it. So it is nothing more than just open space. Now, if somebody wants to utilize it for a garden or something like that, that's about as much acreage as you're going to have. It's not very large, but it will be maintained by their HOA. We'd identify that to make sure it doesn't sit there and turn into a wild field. So, but it won't be turned into an actual amenity.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve item number 4 on the planning agenda presented.
Second.
On item 4, we have a motion by Alderman Kelly, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion? It's a nice development, by the way. It's a very attractive development, a piece of land that's been vacant in our city for a long time. They've done the extras, beautiful gate, done the extras, make it attractive so I come in. Coleman Builders on a good development. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
So our final application is for a new Kia auto dealership. This is going to be on the south side of Goodman Road, east of Elmore. It's actually on the same piece of property where the Honda dealership is now. They're both owned by the same property owner, same dealership owner. They submitted to us a very modern building with like a gray black palette. We didn't have a whole lot of issues with that. There were a couple stipulations we put on there after reviewing their documents. One, their landscaping sizing was too small. We asked them to increase the size of it. And number 2, the main point is if you look right there at those drawings, there's EPIS all the way to the ground. And that is something we don't allow just because of our humid weather and the type of soils we have here. We require that there's some masonry material, at least for the knee wall area, which is going to be 3 or 4 feet up all the way around. They chose to come in with a gray brick, which will match the EPIS above it. And then they're using metal panels. They've got their streetscape kind of already in place. They were approved with the landscaping house site. Their photometrics, their lighting was already submitted and approved with Honda, so it's already in the works. And what they learned from the place is that they have roof-mounted transformer and HVAC equipment, so they've already got it wrapped where you cannot see it, from Goodman Road or any other side of the building. So other than the materials changing and the sizing of the landscaping, it was accepted as submitted.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve 5 on the planning agenda as presented tonight.
Second.
On item 5, we have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Payne. And again, quality development, we've never had a dealership here. I think there's a market for that, and quality automobile, so that's something new for Southaven, Suffolk County. Good development. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda is our mayor's report. Just a couple things to review with everybody. First of all, let's talk about sanitation contract. February 22nd, in a special meeting there, board awarded the sanitation contract to Waste Pro. And so since then, we've been working with them to get a valid contract in place. We have received the contract from them. Nick made a few adjustments to it, received their response back. And so we're trying to finalize this because we're getting close. I mean, the thing changes over in May. So this is tight. I understand it's been this tight and before me, but in my time, we've never been this tight. So concern me a little. But anyway, so it looks like we're almost to the point of finalizing the thing. There's 3 things that we're still some up in the air that we need to hammer down. And just want to make sure I get clear guidance from this board in negotiating this agreement, okay? So the first thing was 1.1 of the contract refers to being able to petition the city for additional rate if there's things that change that are beyond their control. Nick and I discussed this morning, we have no problem with that. We know that sometimes things can happen. But I want to make sure that we put this on the record. One thing that was suggested was the fact that the landfill location has changed. So I want to make sure everybody remembers that Waste was aware of the landfill location changes before they bid. So just in the future, if they do come back, I don't think that's fair. They knew that the landfill location changed. In fact, when they spoke, Lori Joyner even referenced the fact that use that as an example, that the landfill, that their price reflected, some of the changes. So anyway, just want to make sure that the board understands that. Second thing is evidently somewhere along the way there was some confusion about when recycling service would start. And I want to make sure everybody's clear. I've responded back to Waste Pro by email today. They understand that. We can't have a gap. It needs to continue as service. Now, we understand that the prior company will pick up their carts, and we've got to give Waste Pro a reasonable amount of time to get the new carts out there. But there was some suggestion it would be June before we have recycled carts, and that can't happen. Okay, I've explained that to them that it needs to be as soon as possible, and the transition no later than May the 13th. So they received that. The third thing is there was a question in the contract negotiations about the length of term of this award. And y'all made it clear, I want to say it was Alderman Hoots that made the motion, but we made it clear that we were offering a 2-year contract plus 4 additional 1-year extensions. That was what the board voted on. Well, in theirs, they had, was it to 10?
They had it up to 10. RFP said you go up to 10. I think Alderman Jerome made a motion for 2 years, up to 4 1-year extensions. You can make it up to 10 if you want, but I think the board motion was up to 6 years. And legally, you can make it up to 10. RFP did allow for up to 10 if that's what the board desired, but the motion was up to 6 years. So I think the question is, y'all want to keep it at 6 or y'all want to go up to possibly 10?
So it's a 2-year deal with a 1-year extension the year after that.
For either however many
For a total
years.
of 6 years at this point.
Correct. So a 6-year deal would be 2-year contract with 4 1-year extensions.
So, and their proposal was a 2-year contract with 6 1-year extensions. Is that correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, with 8.
8, sorry.
Yeah.
See, I don't even know math. Who knows? I can't remember. Counting.
Assuming the city and the contractor agree. So you have the way it's structured now is a 2-year contract up to 6 years of 4 1-year renewals. After the first year, there is a 9-day termination convenience for clause, whatever convenience provision, which obviously no one ever wants to use this pain to redo all this. And that would be in there, and you still have the opportunity, you still would have the things for breach. You can still get out for any breaches that are material and substantial, which that's not here nor there. So I think the last thing would be, do you want to keep it pursuant to your motion from 2 years up to 6, or would you willing to go from 2 years up to 10, with understanding that after that it's just based on your CPI or a year after that? So that's strictly what that's what y'all want to do. I didn't know, Mayor. I guess I was asking for guidance from just like the mayor was.
So we don't gain anything by extending it. I mean, we're not getting any kind of break on anything or anything like that. It still has the same cost of living increase.
Yeah, the contract would still be you have to, the way it works is you have to keep the contract on the same terms that when you go additional, you have to keep it on the same terms as what your contract is, and there's some AG opinions on that. But yeah, so it would need to be on those same terms.
But what you would gain is if they do a great job, you don't have to do it. You don't have to go through all of this
Yes.
all over again.
Let me ask you this, though. So we have cost of living increases in there. But if we only did it for 6 years and we stopped it and had to renegotiate another one and bid it out, we could possibly have to pay more.
Correct. You could possibly pay more.
I mean, it's free bite of the apple if we do 10 years. It doesn't cost us anything.
Except for cost of living.
Yeah, except for cost of living, which we know. I'd rather keep something that I know than have to do this again.
If they're 1-year agreements, you can terminate anytime.
It costs you 3% up to 5%. The way the contract's structured now is, and I don't know if you can hear me or see me, but I know you can see me. The way the contract's structured now is, there's a CPI index embedded in the contract for an increase. The way that the proposal was is a minimum 3% increase, a maximum 5% increase. So no matter what the CPI is, you're going up 3, but no more than 5 every year. So if it's 7% increase, you win. 2% increase, you don't. So that you're going from a 3 to 5% increase every year. That would be what it would be for years 7, 8, 9, 10 if you did that, as opposed to years 3, 4, 5, 6 only. So that's the last issue, I think. It's the first issue, like the mayor said, would you could, they could come petition through the RFP, they'll allow petition to the board for changes circumstances, which includes the disposal site, to the mayor's point. They seem to aware of that. That's something that we'll figure out when 2025, when they actually, I guess, petition for that base only change of the disposal site. Number 2 would be the recycling, which seems to be the consensus will have to be May 13th, keeping that day as opposed to June. And then the third one would be how many years, and then the other provisions they've agreed to last night, or yesterday afternoon, last night, this morning, that we were going back and forth on. So those are the 3 outstanding ones. It seems like the one outstanding one left is the time extension, and that's what the board. We're just I think just me, I'm based off your motion on the drum, so that's why I just couldn't do it before. I didn't want to go and get some more on that, but y'all something different tonight?
I'm okay. I'm personally okay with 2 to 8, because I mean, it's still based on their performance. Up to them, they do a good job or not.
You're out after a year if they don't. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
So I mean, so my successor doesn't have to deal with having to go through this again for 8 more years. If they do a good job, hey, I'm fine with that. You need a motion for that one?
it's
Future board can be down on this, a future board can be down on this contract, and it's only a year now anyway, but a future board can be bound by a contract which has a definitive term under state law. So under state law, you can go for 10 years, that 10 years can be bound to the future board, since there is a definitive time length in the state law under 31.713 I think.
But the city, after 2 years, the city each year can get out of this completely.
Right.
Correct.
correct.
Okay, as long as that's, I mean, that would,
But technically, I mean, honestly, after 1 year, the city has a 90-day termination clause.
Yeah.
I mean, so my point being is, yeah, you can do 8 years if they're doing a great job, you can keep going, and it allows for that. But to your point, Alderman Jerome, yes, we would need a motion to authorize that, and then authorize.
Changing it in the contract.
Well, it's not changing, it's authorizing the negotiation.
really, they don't need a motion. If I'm listening, we're going to go, it's coming back before them to formally accept it, correct?
That's fine, yes, sir, that's fine.
So all I'm trying to get is direction from
Yeah,
y'all.
I'm good with changing it to
Yeah,
8.
I've already told you the second one, we can't give on that. We can't go a month without recycling. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's fine.
and then the first one, I want to make sure that's clear, and I'm trying to be fair with everybody, but in all fairness, we relied on their price when you awarded them the bid, and they knew at that time that the landfill location had changed. So I don't think that that's fair to the city of Southaven. And I'm not saying that they are doing it for that reason. There's other reasons that they would need that, because other things could change after the contract is in place that they would need some relief on. And so I definitely think that's fair. I just don't think that they should be able to come back and ask us to pay more money because the landfill location changed. Because they knew about that when they bid it. Y'all hear me? Yeah.
I agree with Alderman Jerome.
Yeah, so when we do it,
If we can get out every year,
yeah, if there's no reason you can't get out. So, that's all. I just wanted to get some final, clear direction on that. And as far as we know, those are the only 3 issues left, right?
Yes, sir, and I'm sorry to beat that. Yes, sir, just for my purposes, whatever, so when I go back and revise this, it's going to say they can request for the change for the landfill, but it would just be, it's up to that point, the board determine at that time of the request. Is that?
Well, the way I understood from what you told me is that you're leaving their ability to petition
Yes.
for hardships.
Yes.
And this could be one, but not necessarily it.
Correct.
All I'm trying to do tonight is put it on the record that they knew that this should not be one in the future
Yeah,
that
don't-
you give.
Don't use this one.
Don't use this one because you knew about this beforehand.
Yeah.
Because, and again, I'm not suggesting that they're doing this, but it's a way to supplemental bill you to death. Like to come in with a lower price, knowing that you're gonna come back and petition for a higher price, and that's not fair. That's not fair to the other bidders or.
So we'll keep the request language in there that's in the RFP, and then we'll make that May 13th, and then we'll go to the 8 years for the term, and then we'll bring that to you the next meeting, assuming that Waste Pro agrees to that, bring it to you the next meeting and finalize.
Yeah, everybody good with that?
And they're gonna be ready to go on time?
You need to ask them that. I mean, that's why I've been pressing, and Alderman, we've been working on this, okay? We've been pressing them to get the contract back for that reason. I don't have a comfort level, like I said, before we started this discussion, being this late in the game. We awarded this thing on February 22nd, and in the past years, we had a contract back within 3 or 4 days. So here we are, you do the math, today's April 2nd, that was February 22. That's a long time. It's putting us in an uncomfortable situation,
Yeah.
and they know that. I've communicated that with them.
Any chance there's a decision maker audience? We can do it now.
We have some here, but for what? What's it?
Well, but they gotta make the
Oh,
change.
they gotta change it.
Yeah, and we're on that. We'll do it. Bring it back before. And Waste Pro's team has been, John Snyder's in the audience. He's been nothing but helpful. So I'm not passing judgment on him or anybody else, but I work for the city of Southaven. And the city of Southaven is in a somewhat of a compromised position when you wait this late, because this, as y'all know, is a major change in our city. I don't have comfort being on April 2nd, and I've communicated that to them in prior emails. So I just want, you brought that up. I want you to know that we're on this. We've been communicating it. Nick has been pointing out his concerns as well. But I'm comfortable that as long as they agree to these things, I think we're good, so. But we don't need motion, but like Nick said, the contract will, as long as they accept those things. If they don't accept these things, then we'll be back before you, and quickly. But anyway, enough of that? Okay. And the next thing I want to talk to you about is some long-term planning that I've mentioned to you before. My team, if y'all will put this up there. And before I get started, this is not an official financial document. I know people get weird about stuff like this. I don't like putting this out in public. This is a working document. It's a spreadsheet that I use for my planning purposes. And so this is not a formal document. It's not any kind of part of our official financial plan. All it is a spreadsheet that helps us plan, okay? And so, but the numbers are accurate. I've done the research, pulled those numbers right from an audit, from a valid audit. And so here's our situation. By policy, we agreed years ago that we would always keep 12% of our general fund in reserve, which right now is $8,259,720. And so now we have $12,455,868 in our unassigned fund balance. So we have a surplus. Does everybody follow me? Y'all see the top part? Everybody follow? Okay, so we have an excess surplus of $4,196,148. Y'all know we were in our budget discussions when we set this year's budget, but I suggested let that money sit because we got some unknowns. Let's don't, account for that. Let's just be careful. Let that money sit, which we have done. Getwell South Lighting Project is our biggest project going on now. That one, the amount is going to be more than $2.6 million. We got to crunch a few more numbers on that because some of that money, our money has been spent on some of it, and then some of it, I want to say, in one of our previous bond issuances, we could have some money that was allocated to our co-op part of that, but I don't know I got to do some more research on that. These other projects that you see in black are already funded. They're either ARPA money or they were funded in some other manner. So going down the page visually with me to the ones that are in blue. The ones that are in blue are what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. So these are things that have become critical needs of our city, and we just need to make not tonight, but we need to make a decision soon on how we fund these things in the most efficient and effective manner for the city. The new East Precinct Police Station, we negotiated a deal with a $3.1 million facility that we did a land trade for. And we're going to get that for $1.5 million. So that's a set price that we know. Snowden Lane widening, as the Snowden district has developed, now we have the top zip development on Snowden Lane. We've added the soccer complex. This is the area on Snowden just south of Goodman Road. It's 2 lanes right now. And with the other developments, it needs to be made into a 3-lane road. And so the cost to do that is basically $2.7 million. And there's an agreement in place with the businesses there that they pay half of that. So our cost on that is $1.3 million. The other one that's critical right now, and same type deal, developments that happen there, the Provost mixed-use development that nailed just west of Getwell. And then there's other developable land there, and they are in agreement with us that they will pay half the cost to extend Nail Road from Getwell, where it dead ends, all the way to Tullahoma. And so the cost to do that is just under 6.9 million. Again, our cost is half of that, so 3.4 million. These other three things on there are things that we're going to seek other funding for. They're smaller, but it is critical that we move with these. We don't want to wait too long. It takes so long to get materials. You know, when you start the intersection projects, and with the opening of the Sweeney-Mackinville extension at Star Landing, it's a game changer traffic-wise for our city. I mean, already the traffic on Sweeney is tremendous, and they haven't even opened it yet. When they open that, it's going to be a direct shot all the way to 269. So we know that we're going to have tremendous traffic coming through Southaven. These two things that I have on here are going to be critical. The first thing is a Church and Sweeney intersection. It's too narrow to have a right turn lane long enough. So you have people backing up, traveling northbound on Sweeney, just south of Church Road. They're just trying to turn right, but they can't turn right because they can't get to the turning lane. So we need to widen the intersection and lengthen the turning lane, and that's about $325,000. Then if you go further south to the area I'm talking about, the Star Landing Sweeney intersection, y'all know because of the danger there, we just put up a temporary blinking stoplight because you have a hill there when motorists are traveling westbound on Star Landing. There's a hill that blocks your visibility. When you top that hill, you're around the intersection. We've had critical automobile accidents there in the past. It's very, very dangerous. And so this project, well, there's actually two of them. One of them would actually go ahead and put a full signalization in the intersection and do the widening that needs to happen for that to occur. And the other one below that is a site correction that's grading the hill down to make it safer. Those are going to be critical with the amount of traffic that's going to be coming there. Last thing is, well, that's the last thing is what I said first. That's the traffic signal and widening. So if you total all those up, if you'll look down, skip down below to the blue, $7.4 million. Obviously, there could be some adjustment to get well, possibly a little bit of money that's needed there. So we flip to the next page, how we get there, what's the most effective way to fund this. These are critical projects that are going to bring safety and value to the city for a long time. Obviously, before I recommend anything to y'all, I want to look at our financial picture and see what kind of impact this has to us. So the recommendation is to do a GO bond. You'll look at our total GO debt as of right now is $34 million. We have much more capacity left by state law. We're nowhere near capacity. However, our debt service as of right now in FY24 is $6.3 million. $6.3 million a year. Going with an $8 million 10-year bond at 4% interest would put the payment at right about $975,000. So you see, as we go on, previous debt is rolling off as we pay that off. So in FY25, it would actually have a reduced effect. We wouldn't be going to a higher debt service. We go to 6.1 million, down from 6.4, and then y'all can read the rest. So you can see that the debt service is falling off. We have the capacity and the safety and conservative manner of doing a bond. So anyway, what I wanted to get some direction from y'all on is, are y'all okay doing this bond? We don't have to vote tonight. Let's talk about it. But these projects are critical, and the clock is ticking. The one thing that situation that we're in Southaven is that a lot of cities don't have to move as fast as we do. When you have the growth that we have, it's unusual. I mean, and like I said, the traffic patterns change in a hurry. The cost or the timing to do some of it takes so long to build a road. I mean, we've been trying to build since 2015. It takes so long to get these things done. I don't want to wait and push behind and get a late start because it's going to take some time before we get them done. So anyway, I'm showing you a need. These are the most critical capital improvement needs for our transportation safety. And anyway, just again, want to hear from y'all. What are your thoughts on it?
It's gonna be very long for us to be proactive with this then.
Well, these are things that it's not if, it's a when. You're going to be doing it because it's going to become more critical. The longer you wait, the bigger of a problem it's going to be. And I can tell you, if you have done it, if you don't ever go that way, I've had citizens reach out to me, but I also drive myself in the morning. That intersection at Star Landing and Sweeney is becoming more and more dangerous by the day. And then when you go northbound to Church, Aldermen, you live near there. The traffic
Home this morning.
Yeah, traffic backs up.
You're right, Mike.
It's definitely a problem. And again, this is not on the plan, but we'll go ahead and throw this out there. We'll continue exploring PO opportunities, but Sweeney is going to be widened right there. I mean, it really needs it right now. But at a bare minimum, we got to be able to move the traffic at these two critical locations on both ends.
Eventually, we're going to have to address Sweet North and Nail to good eventually, because when we open it all the way up, traffic came out of like my neighborhood in the morning.
Yeah.
It's just as bad as it was
Yeah.
at College and Nail.
Yeah.
So you would have to buy all the
All the way.
Yeah, it needs to be. It does.
I mean, it's not on here, and I get it, but eventually that's going to have to happen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. We put a button in too.
I'm all for that.
Okay, well, I wanted to, again, this is just to be informative, to let you know. So we will, again, so if we find a way, we still got some possibilities on some of these, on the intersection projects. If the legislature comes to me, which they usually do at the end of the session, and says, hey, if we want to, I call it the Christmas tree state bond, they all start flipping little small presents out. And we'll take it. You know, if they offer that to us and say, hey, if you got something that fits 325,000, we'll say, as a matter of fact, I do. Send us a check and we'll do the widening at Church and Sweeney. So we'll keep exploring those opportunities, but we do need to get rolling. So if at the next meeting, we will bring it officially before you to start the process of a jail bond to fund these projects. And that's all I have this evening. Next on our agenda is our personnel docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the personnel docket as presented on this date.
Second.
The motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is our city attorney's legal update.
A couple quick items. First item is approval of the Comcast agreement. Mike wants to sign. It's for the e-precinct for the internet that's going to be needed there. It's for a 36-month term for the Wi-Fi service for $900 and I think $5 per month. So I need that approval tonight for Michael Norris to sign the Comcast agreement.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion?
Is this for BAM, or is this?
The one on the east, yes, sir.
Sorry.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries.
Next item is just the approval of the I-55 widening relocation right-of-way acquisition agreement with Civil Inc. They'll, as part of, it's just like they did the Getwell Road project on Getwell Road South. They I guess, get some easements for the removal of utilities, the city utilities that are needed to be removed before I-55 be widened. So make authorization for the mayor to sign an agreement with Civil Inc. It's estimated to be around $310,000. However, that's an 80-20 mix or 80 split, so we'll reimburse 80% of the cost for those services. And then also, once we start the land acquisition itself, those costs will be reimbursed as well for those properties that are need to be obtained. So tonight, authorization for the mayor to sign the agreement with Civil Inc. along with authorizing the order of title so that we can get started reviewing the title to get the easement so utilities can remove so I-55 widened.
We have a motion, Alderman Payne, second Alderman Hoots. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries.
And the last item is no action, just update. I know we talked about in the past the crime lab agreement or interlocal that all the cities were going to do with the county. Still in the final version of that agreement. However, when it was originally talked about, it was going to be split equally among the county and the 5 cities, or the 4 cities in equal shares. However, there's been some pushback from the smaller cities regarding that arrangement, and it's being proposed now to be split upon or based on the actual cases that are sent to the crime lab. So I do want to give you a heads on that because all the cities are trying, all the city attorneys are giving the word. It's just to let them know that's kind of where the process is right now. I hope to have that done next couple of meetings, but I do want to update that crime lab agreement is being reviewed, but it's not being reviewed and drafted in a way that was that will be done equally. It'll be done based on the cases, and as you would guess, Southaven sends the most cases, or the second most in the county. So we'd be paying more than the $50,000. I think it'd be paying about $60,000, $52,000 based on the previous caseloads in the last 3 years. So once we have those finalized, I'll get back with you on that and present that for approval and give you email details. I just want to give you an update on that as well. Thanks.
Is there any proposed state funding that goes with a crime lab?
Yeah, it's a combination of money that it's all pieced together. I don't have that from me, but it was like the county is donating the building that used to be used for law enforcement purposes. So the county is putting up the building. Then the DA's office is funding. They're doing something, and the state is giving money for the fixtures or something,
Yes,
and then they're asking cities to. Our money pays for the sentence, the salaries of the sentence. So everybody has got some skin in the game,
Yeah, yeah, that's correct.
and that is in the. I didn't bring that today, but I think that breakdown is in the. Do you remember, Andrew? Is that in the minutes? We talked about it a while. I have it. I can get.
We talked about it before.
We did. Yeah, I had the night I was bringing it to
it.
y'all's attention. I had the breakdown, but I can get that for you. Yeah, I can't recall exactly.
I'm pretty sure that is.
I think it is. Yeah. But
Is
anyway,
the county the only county that's proposing to do a crime lab to assist the state?
That I don't know. I know it's one of the few that's proposing it, but I don't know if it's the only. It may be the only. That I'm not sure. I think it's actually the DA's office who's proposing it.
Well, yeah,
well, I think it was a combination of discussions between the new sheriff and the DA. The reason, and again, you say it like it does help the state, but the reason we're interested in it helps us. Like
I understand the reason. Just
February the
Yeah,
6th.
because you can't take it.
February 6th. Andrew, would you look up for the morning? Thank you. But again, like, you know, there's things that, well, I'm not gonna say that. We're used to it being split based on the population or caseload. We know that we have a high caseload, and so we don't want to kill a good thing. We know that this is gonna help us. So whether it helps the state or whomever else it helps, we know it helps us. Is why we're interested in it. But now, should we be doing this? Just, I don't know if that's where you. No, the state should be funding.
I say crime lab.
They should be funding if they need more in different locations on the coast or in North Mississippi or wherever, they should be handling that. They should be taking care of that. But the bottom line is they're not. And so we want to solve a problem. We know that it's going to benefit us by having this. I mean, I think it's a good idea, whether it's the sheriff or the DA or whomever. I think it was a great idea, and I know our police agree with that.
Any sort of county uses it?
The way it's been presented to us is that initially they're going to have the building ready. As soon as they hire the scientists or have the scientists allocated, they can go ahead and start working. I think they're going to work out of a Bates location, but it'll be in the agreement. Nick will make sure this is in the agreement. Just kind of cases will come first, and then if there's extra, they would be able to do other things. But then eventually they will move into the building that's just south of the square by the jail. That's where the building will be located. But they'll be moving the location there. So to the Southaven County, it will work to Southaven County cases. And then the long-term goal is to not just have it be a drug lab, but to be a full-fledged lab there eventually. Okay, six. You said there were six. Didn't you?
Did. Did I wrong with that?
Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. But does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so other than that, you just give an update on that. Any other questions about that?
I told other people I'd give an update just so that other attorneys give an update, just so I was aware that we've talked about it.
And I know this goes without saying, but I will say it again, make sure all of this goes with the requirement in the MOU that the Southaven County cases are the priority.
First.
Since we're paying for the labor, we want to be
If
first.
that's not revised, we'll make sure it's in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Okay. Anybody got anything else, Nick? Thank you, Nick. Next on our agenda is our utilities billing leak adjustment docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the utility bill leak adjustment docket as presented on this date.
We have a motion, Alderman Payne, second Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is one claims docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the claims docket in the amount of $2,907,560.71, including demand checks.
Second.
We have a motion, Alderman Payne, second Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Hudson.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is the purpose of determining the need for executive session.
So moved.
We have a motion from Alderman Hoots, second from Alderman Gallagher. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The need this evening is claims and litigation involving the Southaven Police Department and infrastructure, economic development within the city, and interdepartmental personnel with no action. Is there a motion to declare executive session?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Alderman Hoots, second from Alderman Jerome. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The mayor and board will enter executive session.